Launched in 2007, Peace 3 is a European Regional Development Fund programme for Northern Ireland and the border region of Ireland. The programme, which is managed by the special EU programmes body, aims to reinforce progress towards a peaceful and stable society and to promote reconciliation by assisting projects which help to reconcile communities and contribute towards a shared society for everyone.
Well, before the Peace Bridge came, going back to the early 70s, there was an exodus from the city side to the water side where a lot of Protestants, didn't feel secure anymore. So the city became very divided. And Nelson Drive, where I live and work, that would have been one of the areas where people would have come to live. In some cases, people just didn't go back to the city again. For me, the river probably became the division. At that time, we were looking at paramilitary murals in our estate and the removal of them. We were told that we could replace it with a community mural. What we did was we held about 15 workshops and we gathered people's ideas, and it was very, very clear that they wanted the Peace Bridge to show both sides of the community and how it could bring them together. For me, it's opened up the whole city. It's widened out the city centre. It's provided a lovely neutral space. People who would have not come over to the city centre now come over. I've never seen so many people out cycling, running, walking. I think the Peace Bridge has made a massive difference to our communities.
Well, regrettably, back in the 1990s, following many of our parades in the city of Londonderry, there was destruction, there was rioting, there was disturbances. So the Apprentice Boys Association believed that we had a duty to reach out to the wider community. We had a duty to try and engage with those people and try and reach some form of accommodation that prevented these riots from taking place. It was always our belief that we should have a museum. We believed we had a very rich story that the Apprentice Boys could tell, a story that should be conveyed to all of the community. We're also very conscious that many people from the Protestant community were reluctant to come across the bridge, to come across to the city side. So we believed that if the Apprentice Boys gave a lead in developing this museum, then that hopefully would attract them across to this side of the bridge where all of our culture, all of our history is located. The old part of the hall was built in 1873. Without the assistance of the Peace Fund, the hall would have been condemned in another few years' time.
Outreach work has a big role to play within the development of the Siege Museum. That's the way for us to obviously encourage visitors to get people to come along to visit the Siege Museum, but also to go out to people at grassroots level and maybe dispel myths and misconceptions that they have. We recently hosted a group from the GAA. They'd come up all the way from Limerick. We would have quite a lot of schools groups coming from the Republic of Ireland as well, particularly because the Siege is on their curriculum and they're keen to learn more about it.
We have a neighbourhood cafe here as part of the facility at Skenos, a day centre for the elderly, another day centre for people with learning difficulties. There's a dance studio here, a nursery centre here for children. We have 35 apartments on the site. We have Horsford House, and so the list goes on. Not bringing people together who come from different backgrounds, etc., coming into this shared space that's been created here in East Belfast. That's really what makes a difference here.
The PeaceLink is a cross-border, cross-community sports facility that is located in Clonus, in the Clonus Air and East area. In the Clonus hinterland, 50% is in Monaghan, the other 50% is Fermanagh. Because of the troubles and the closing of the border roads, there was a breakdown in activity across that area. There was no free movement, and I suppose because of the troubles there was suspicion and so forth between the various different communities. We felt at the time that once the peace had come about, that there was a mechanism of sport could be used to maybe rebuild those relationships. We have a Building Relations Through Sport programme. We have a Building Relations Through Sport officer who is employed through the facility, who goes out to the various different communities and runs various different programmes to attract and build those relationships through the mechanisms of various different activities and various different sports.
For further information on the new Peace 4 programme, please visit www.seupb.eu.